All right, so welcome everybody to my podcast, Rapping with Your Granny. Today I have Val The Voice. What the hell?
That's me. No, I like that. I like that. Thanks for the balloons, the celebration. You
I
see,
thought it was me. I went like this. Today we have Val The Voice,
it was you. It was the balloons. But I
but
like
it
it.
was
I
on
like
your
it.
camera.
It's good.
We have Val The Voice, and we're gonna chat it up with him today and get to know him a little bit. So, can you open up a little bit, introduce yourself? I mean, I introduced you, if that's the name we're gonna go by, and
Yeah.
a little bit about what you do.
Valentine, Val the Voice. So what's good, everybody? I am Valentine, Val the Voice. I'm a radio broadcaster on iHeartRadio, FM radio, um, AM radio. We're on a lot of different outlets, internet radio, and I've been a radio broadcaster since 2006. Various different outlets: 91.9 FM out of New York City, 87.9 FM in the Poconos. I did some radio in Massachusetts. I've done some Sirius. I've done a lot, and I started in the game with my own production company. I had a production team. We used to produce records for artists. I worked with major labels, independent labels. I'm more on the. I'm really like on the marketing side. I've done a lot of marketing for a lot of artists, major artists, independent artists, and I've done a lot of events in New York. I was an event coordinator. I was a partner for the Latin Connect out of New York City. If anybody knows what that was the biggest Latin hip hop event that was in New York City. We helped break a lot of well known people today, like Joel Ortiz, La Bruja, and then I took a couple of years off for personal issues, and then I'm back strong now. Our radio show is doing real good. The name of the show is The Culture Coaches, at The Culture Coaches. Myself, Val the Voice, Viral Val, DJ No Frills, Famous Frills. He created the Philly Support Philly movement. Uh, Very popular. He's worked with everybody out of Philly, and he's a Rock the Bells radio DJ. He's also does Sway in the morning. So, we're doing real good with the show. Thank you. You were one of the first when we launched the show. You were one of the first people I reached out to, and I said call in. So now we're even in a bigger studio. We've expanded our outlets from 98.5 to we're on the Talk of Philly now, which is the biggest AM radio station too. And the show is basically discuss hip hop culture. And we're the coaches. We teach you all about it. We teach you about everything from the music business to you know what you should eat. We have a segment called Health and Hip Hop, which we discuss. A lot of people in hip hop have died from health issues. So we discuss those topics, and sometimes we have people call in who are experts in their field with health. We coach people on the law in urban. So anything that affects the urban community, we discuss. So what I say is the show is basically it is a educational show, but we use at the same time we put the medicine inside a cookie. So all the music and everything, we play the cool classics, we play the new music, but it's more of an educational based show talking about urban politics, urban community, and of course, we play that hip hop. So
Yeah.
talk to me.
So that was a lot of information.
Yeah, it's all good.
so,
I'm just giving them a gist of who I am.
so you're also a realtor.
Oh yeah, I'm also a realtor. I've been a realtor since 2006 also. So I'm an investor. I'm a realtor. I'm my own boss. I buy houses. I flip houses. I work with other investors, finding them homes. I'm licensed in New York City. I'm licensed in the state of Pennsylvania. So reciprocal license. So I go where it's at. I have a lot of investor clients that I deal with mostly.
I was
So
going to say, so is it mostly like investment properties, or is it do you actually help
I
people
deal with
get a house or what?
I did listen. I definitely actually that's my primary. My primary clients are basically residential people my favorite client is the first time home buyer. The first time home buyer, the family that's trying to get their first home. That's my favorite, those are my favorite people to help. The investors, I work with them too, but I like to put myself in a position where I'm always helping people. So, I do real estate to basically help people, learn about. That's another thing that we talk about on the show. We talk about finances in the urban community. A lot of people do
It's
not know
important.
how to get a home. A lot of people don't know the first step. And what happens is, they're naive to the process. So we educate them. Sometimes we have loan officers call in. Sometimes we tell them what the programs are. So we basically coach on that too. So I'm well versed in real estate. I've been a realtor since 2006. I got 18 years in. I've been an agent. I've been an investor. I've been it all. So I can really help you with that too.
So, just out of curiosity, when you're a
Yeah.
realtor, do you have to you have to re-up your license or anything every year, every 5 years,
Every
10
two
years?
years.
Okay.
Every 2 years. Uh, I'm licensed with 2 states, so every 2 years I have to um, take what's called a continuing education class, so that you're up with the new trends.
Okay.
An example, right? So when I started in the game, we basically just had Craigslist. That was the most popular uh, real estate promotional platform. But in the last couple of years, you've gotten Zillow, you've gotten Realtor.
Mhm.
Social media has changed the dynamics of real estate. So you have to get caught up on all of this, all of these new trends, all of the new laws. Like in New York, there was a lot of discrimination. So new laws are getting passed all the time. The state regulations are always
Mhm.
getting passed. So you got to be on top of them. So every 2 years, we get a continuing education class, and then our license gets renewed.
So, do you have to take a test too, or just a class?
Yeah, no, they give you these online tests. I mean, your license, your license is expired. I usually do it before it expires. But yeah, it's about, I think it's 22 and a half hours. For Pennsylvania, it's 14 and a half, and for New York, it's 22 and a half hours. So I got to do the double thing. And
Okay.
yeah, so I usually try to do 4 hour segments, and then at the end they'll ask you 20 questions, and you just
Okay.
so if you have the thing that I don't like about it is that they're always adding new stuff that don't have anything to do with real estate.
Mm.
It's a lot of social issues and stuff like that. But the real estate business, just recently they passed something where now you can't, you have the option if you don't want to pay, if the seller doesn't want to pay. This is something that just came out with National Association of Realtors. The seller is not obligated to pay both sides of the commission now. But that's something that changed. So all the laws are always changing, but a lot of times the actual courses, they talk about everything else but real estate. It's weird.
Um. So that was a great introduction. You do a whole lot. You got a
Yeah,
lot on
yeah,
your
yeah,
plate.
yeah. Listen, you got to diversify your portfolio.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So tell me, you talked about the culture coaches.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you met DJ Frills and
Okay.
how y'all ended up coming up with the culture coaches.
Okay. So he likes me to say DJ No Frills, Famous Frills.
No frills.
That's
Okay.
like
Oh, okay.
so. I used to do a show in 91.9 FM in New York City. It was the biggest independent network out there, right? So, like I said, I hosted a lot of events. So I had hosted the Just Those Mixtape Award events, which used to be a huge, where mixtapes were the thing. That was the award show. The Just Those. He's a famous DJ who passed away. He created the Just Those Mixtape Awards. So one day I was hosting my side of the event. There was two different sides, and I saw DJ No Frills, and he was playing all this heat. He was playing like a lot of Philly music and a lot of. So this was in the MySpace days. So when I said what up to him, whatever, but then I looked him up online, and I just saw how his grind was crazy. All the people that he was working with who were very relevant, Beanie Siegel. He just was anybody, the Roots, anybody who was out of Philly, like he had a relationship with them. So I'm always thinking marketing. So I was like, well, how can I expand the show just out of New York and to get a new market? So I asked him to come on once a month to do a segment to take over the show with the Philly Takeover on Rise Up Radio. So he would come and he would bring Philadelphia artists, well-known artists, Freeway, Emilio Sparks, anybody, a lot of people who are popping. So he would come down, Tone Trump at the time, he would come down to the show. He would bring them, and if you Google it, like we have a lot of videos on World Star, a lot of videos on Vlad from that particular show. We had a really popular show, so he did that. We did that for a while. Then I started doing radio in Boston, so I sort of moved away from the New York scene. He continued to do, but we always remained friends throughout the years, right? So me and him always remained friends. We always kept it 100 with each other. I would always check on him like regularly. So we hadn't done nothing in 5 years, but we were always saying, yo, we got to pop something off. But, we were supposed to start this last year, but my dad had passed away. A lot had happened. So when the new year turned over for 2024, we were talking about doing this, for 2 years. I called them and I said, listen, I'm putting together a package. I'm going to start shopping into these different radio networks. Send me your pictures. And I put together a dope EPK and I put it out there. So I got a call back from 98.5 FM Uptown Radio. And we started talking. I sent them an air check. They wanted to meet. We went down there. No Frills had knew some of them. He had told me about it. And we linked up, and then we just started doing the show, and I called it the Coach. We throw around a lot of different names, but because together we have so much experience and so many years, we always would say, yo, you're the coach. So he would always call me the coach because I dropped a lot of Jews based on my experience. And I would say he was a coach too because he had a lot of experience in the game. So we would always say, we always would call each other the coaches anyway. So I said, you know what? We should name the show The Culture Coaches because we're talking about everything about the culture. And again, the difference, and it was an instant success. We got the most numbers on the FM station. We shopped it to an AM station. We're the only urban show that plays our type of music and everything on that station. It's more of a political station, political analyst, and all these different type of cultural shows. So they were a little skeptical about, because sometimes hip hop and that it can be stereotyped as a type of crowd and everything. But when I sat with them and they realized I was a professional, I'd done this for years. I sent them my website. They got to know me, and I told them what the topic was about, the format of the show, that we were going to be touching all these different topics. It wasn't just a hip hop show. It's an urban relation show. They really liked the idea. They never had nothing. And then we became the #1 rated show on that one too. So we've got another offers from other stations and everything, but for now we're just staying put.
And what's the website?
Well, we're on WWDB 860 AM radio, which is the talk of Philly. The website is www.dbam.com, but we're live on AM radio. So if you're in the Philadelphia area or anywhere around 100 miles out of Philadelphia, every Friday we're on at 6 p.m. You can listen on your FM, on your AM dial, or you can listen on iHeart. We're live on iHeart at the same time. If you search through iHeart and you look and you put it up, we'll be live from the studio on iHeart Radio. And then Wednesdays we do 98.5 FM Uptown Radio. So we're on your FM dial on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. You're in your car, you're on your joint, whatever. And the website is uptownphilly.org. So you can listen on the website. So, it's various ways to listen. And then we re-air again on iHeartRadio on Saturdays, 12 o'clock. So we record one show a week, though. We record it and we play that show on multiple outlets. So we also play it on Saturdays on iHeartRadio, Party 101. And that plays in the UK at 5 o'clock and 12 o'clock in the United States. We're power partners with the UK Hip Hop Museum, which is owned by Curtis Blow and them. So,
for real?
We do a lot of.
These are the breaks. Break it up.
They're playing basketball. So they're power partners. So like I said, I'm big into marketing. So I try to align myself with other power players in the game. So we're cross promoting each other and things like that. So,
Well, let me ask you a question about marketing.
Yeah, talk to me.
So, and this is a personal question, but I'm sure it's going to be helpful for whoever.
Okay.
So I'm finding.
Yeah.
So like back in the day when people made a song, let's just say Rappin made a song. How did he market? Just briefly, how did he market?
His label marketed him.
But
and
how? Like,
it,
let's just give me an example.
the video was a marketing tool, the
Mm-hmm.
in-store campaigns, the posters. So that was back then. What they did was something called guerrilla marketing, which is still relevant today. Guerrilla marketing is boots on the ground, meaning they will put up posters. They will go to the neighborhoods and flood the neighborhoods with posters. Harlem, Brooklyn. A lot of times back in the days, they will find a big wall and they will paint the wall with the album coming. That was another way. Then on the radio, they will play the music. The radio is a marketing tool. So they will
But the
play.
radio ain't like that no more. They want money.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, they were paying money too. They've always gotten money. They've always got it. Listen, the rate, people don't understand. Like, in radio, I'm going to give everybody a little education about radio. Radio was not created for radio shows and all that. They're just the tools. Radio is an advertising platform. The reason that people I was going to buy my own radio station. The reason why people buy radio stations and everything is to have an outlet for advertisers. That's why radio was created. So it's always been advertising based, money based business to break. You've been successful with your singles and with your because you built you started to trend and you build an organic following, right? And you're different. You had a great record. A lot of your records are good, but you had one that was your smash through break record, right? And you were you were talking some real ish. So people resonated with that. And then you're different. You're a little older or whatever. No, not trying to play you,
No,
but
you're good.
you're older than the average artist. We've never really seen I don't know how old you are, but we've never really seen someone older, spitting that fire and actually, promoting it and making a video like really, you've done what a lot of people are trying to do, right? So, so the good thing about the internet is great for promotion, but it's really bad for money and sales unless you're selling merchant products. But that's how they would do it back in the days. It was very grassroots. They would throw album release parties. They would invite DJs down. They took care of some of the DJs, things like that. So that's how really they marketed. Very grassroots marketing. And I've marketed for big record labels. So I got into the marketing part though when the digital game changed. In like 2007, 2008, me and my partner at the time, Chris Excel, who's a marketing genius, this kid. Like I thought I was good. He's next level. And he's worked with big companies. Like he's a tech marketer. So we started a company called Weapon X Promo. We used to get accounts from all these different labels. We were the email marketer and everything for Nipsey Hussle. So we blasted out a lot of his records to all the labels, the DJ pools. We had a big, we have relationships with the Source Bank, and we would shoot them the records and shoot them. So the label would pay us to do that. So then digital marketing came and you can get the newsletter and everything right to your email or right to your mobile. That's another way. So we transition now. There's still money. I bring in a lot of advertisers for my show, right? I advertise them local, a lot of local companies that want to, I bring them up to the show. I interview them. I let them talk about it. We run commercials. I do three-month marketing packages. And then, but I'm able to use the iHeart and all those, I have a strong internet outlet also. So they're on iHeart, they're on this net. So they get a lot for their money marketing with us, as opposed to a lot of internet radio shows and stuff like that they don't really have the reach because they're independent as they're not on a major digital platform like iHeart,
So what I'm finding is social media and I guess social media period is forever changing. And what I've found recently is, bro, the algorithms be changing and be fucking up shit. And I mean that shit like dead ass, because I have 400,000 followers on TikTok.
Awesome. Okay? Yeah, I know you're popping.
And so I've been getting like 1,000, 1,500 views.
Okay. Yeah,
that shit don't make no sense.
No, you're right.
And TikTok on some other shit anyway, just because they're more focused now into selling shit. You know, the TikTok shop is the main thing. Whatever they can do to generate money for themselves, that's what they're doing. Although TikTok started out as a platform for people just to have fun and sing and dance, it ain't even that no more. Like, people do it, but you're not gonna get the play unless you selling shit for them. So that's kind of like not the best place to be trying to promote music. Sure, keep doing it. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
Always use your platforms to do that. But you're not going to get it because that's just not where they're at anymore. Instagram's falling into that. Same thing. So it's like this is part of my frustration. Like, what do I do now? If I can't use my social media to promote, what's what's the other choice? You know what I mean? Because that's pretty much the main thing right now for artists to use their social media platforms to put out their music. But if I'm trying to promote a song, I just dropped a song called Senseless Murders. If
Okay.
if that ain't even getting to 50,000 of my 400,000 followers, then what the fuck am I doing?
Well, here's all right. So let's discuss
So
Instagram.
this ain't about me. This is just in general.
Got you.
People,
No,
I'm
no,
sure,
that's
are
fine.
all
Listen, this is great
dealing with it.
topics, right? So let's discuss Instagram initially. So the thing with Instagram is and not just Instagram, all of these social media platforms allow you to go on there initially. They boost you, they this, and that, and then they lure you in, and then they decrease or there's a word when they suppress certain views or they suppress even though you know, right? But that's because they want you to buy ads. So what's happening is that, and YouTube is the same way, right? You go on. So the first independent artist who went on YouTube and really blew up organically, I believe might have been Chief Keef, like in 2010, right? The last one to actually do it was Tekashi 69. Those are the people who put their music on there and really blew up organically. When that happened to it happened to a variety of artists. When that happened to Tekashi, the labels called him in. YouTube Music was created because they started to figure out that their platform is making they have to pay. They started to see, so that's when they recruited a gentleman who I used to know by the name of Leo Cohen. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but if you're not, Google him. He's the man behind YouTube Music. He's the man behind. He was the president of Def Jam Records at one time.
Leon who?
Leo
Leo.
Leo Cohen, Lyor. He's the man. He 360 Entertainment. He's the one who signed Young Thug. He's the one, but he was the road manager for Run DMC. He was like a manager for LL Cool J, I think. But he was the head of Def Jam Records. He's the one who brought Jay-Z over to Def Jam. So he was recruited he signed the Migos to his label. And then he was recruited by YouTube because YouTube was trying to figure out how to connect the two worlds of social media and music. So they brought him on. Now, a lot of people say that he's the one who created the 360 deals. So a lot of people say he's the biggest culture vulture in the game, right? So he's learned how to market artists and monetize and create all these stuff. So the thing is, all of these social media platforms, they will allow you to get to a certain point, but after that, they're not going to keep. Why should they push? If I'm paying them monthly to get a certain amount of views, why should they allow you to get it for free when they know that you're monetizing off of it? When they know that you're making money, so they're gonna suppress your views until you start buying ads. And then when they see that you're buying ads and you're spending a little bit of money, then they'll work with you a little bit. And I know because this has happened to me from experience. I know. I'm not talking. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm part of another page, Puerto Rican Flags Up, and we've got millions of interactions, but some of the stuff we're not getting the followers. Like at some point, we started to get a little bit suppressed, and we understood that. But when we look at the data, it doesn't add up like what you do. You're looking at the data. So unfortunately, you got to spend a little bit of money to make a little money, and then in your case,
It ain't even about the money. Like
yeah.
I did like accept the monetization
Yeah.
from them. And
Okay.
I, a couple months went, I got like $300-400 in a month. That's the
Okay.
most I got. And now I get like $12 a month. Like the fuck, keep that shit and give me my
Well,
views
did
back.
you seen the post that I put up the other day about the vinyl, the CD, and all that stuff?
Uh-uh.
Okay. So I put up a post the other day that said a lot of independent artists are returning to vinyl. They're returning to making tapes and CDs, and you can stream them also. But if you want, if you want like the it's coming back. It's a unique
The hard
market.
copies.
Yeah, but the thing is, because if you buy that, the artist makes more money. What it takes an artist to make, an artist gets a sixth of a penny on the stream or a fourth of a penny on the stream. You have to have 300-400 hours of streaming to make the money selling one CD.
Right.
So, I come from the era, and I understand this. I was highly against the streaming platforms because I understand, being in the game, that these labels are not your friend. And what they're going to do is they're creating other methods to beat the artist. It's always been to beat the artist. There hasn't been reform in the music business forever, right? They make you recoup. They'll give you a loan, then they'll make you recoup that. Then you'll get maybe 10 points. You're lucky if you get 10 points off of an album. And
Right.
then they keep 90% of the album. They keep your master. So it's always been designed to beat the artist, right? So when the streaming platforms were introduced, I knew already, because at one particular point, maybe like between 2006 and 2010, 2012, before the streaming platforms were introduced, artists were able to still, there was iTunes was very popular. So they would put their music up there. You would do what's called direct to consumer. And what happened was a person would go there, buy your album, and the money would go directly to you, right? You produced it, you put it, but the streaming company said, we're going to undercut that. What we're going to do is you're going to pay, instead of buying that guy's album for $10, right? Even if it's a downloadable version, so it's not a hard copy, so you're saving space, right? We'll create a streaming platform. We'll charge you $10 a month, and you can listen to millions of records, including theirs, and we're forced them to put. But that undercut and undermined the artist.
Right.
So Spotify, some of the Spotify executives this year have cashed out with millions of dollars. They've retired, and they're getting out of the Spotify, the streaming business, because regulation is coming. There's going to be changes coming. So a lot of them made their money and they want to get out. But at the end of the day, all of these executives are making the money, and or for the artist content, the artist isn't making no money. The average artist, the average independent artist ain't making $5,000 a month on their music.
Right. So so besides having to pay these platforms for views, which is ridiculous to me
Not
because
just views, but yeah, what they do is, because that's the whole nother thing. But what they do is they'll push you out to more people. So I guess it's views, yeah, to be more visual, more
right, but
exposure.
they want you to be a creator
Yes.
because you're bringing in people. So how you gonna want me to be a creator, but then stop my shit?
Well, when you say stop it, so when you're creating, you're talking
Suppress
about
it.
suppress it. So you're talking about the music.
Just in general, everything on
Okay.
my page.
So I would say focus more on the content creation like you're doing right here. And what I would say is, you have a big audience, right? You have people listen to you. Focus more on current events and giving your points of view. And then you follow the trends. Like right now, right? All the pages that are popping off today are because of the election last night. So
Yeah.
if you were saying Granny's going to talk about the election tomorrow this time, jump on the live, boom. So on the internet, it's either you're with the gimmicks, the BS stuff, because people love negativity. You'll get millions of views.
But that ain't who
I'm
I
just
am.
telling you. I'm just saying, either that way, or you got to be on top of the trends, and it's a lot of work. Me personally, with everything I can't do, I spend a decent amount of time online, but I can't live online all the time. And in order for you to be successful as a content creator, you have to put out a lot of content. You have to put out, I've got a decent amount of followers on my YouTube page. I used to have almost 20,000. I'm at 12,000 because I stopped putting a lot of content out. But I get a lot of views, and I'm going to start hitting that up again. But you know, they don't really pay a lot. So you have to leverage that, like what you were doing. You had merch. Re-up on your merch and try to send people to purchase merch, or try to create content. You're already on the monitor. The more people, and you know, that's why people go to Patreon. They open a Patreon page, and
Well, how do you promote if they're suppressing your page and social media is the main thing to promote your music? How do you promote music at that point? Like, what do artists do if that shit ain't working because they suppress you?
They keep putting out music, and they keep, and a lot of these. So a lot, if you look on YouTube, right, they have a lot of sponsored ads. So we'll be watching something, and then so what happens? I notice a lot of artists are sponsoring YouTube, and YouTube is pushing it out there. And if they get a certain amount of views or whatever, they'll get some bread. It might not be the ones who are getting the bread, or the ones who are creating content like this, talking. You know, podcasts like Math Hoffa, who I know, podcasts like Joe Buttons and them, they have a podcast that they do every week, and then they hit certain topics and people follow them. You know what I mean? And all of this goes up to YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So you put it up on YouTube, and then you promote the shit out of it, and you try to get some viral moments. You ask the questions that might be uncomfortable to get a viral moment. It's the nature of the business if you're going to be a content creator. It's listen, you have to be. So here's the thing, you're doing a great job at it, right? As an artist, you can't just be an artist anymore. You got to be a content creator who does music. You can't be a musician. You have to be someone and I'm going to give you a perfect example. I have a friend. When you get a chance, follow him. His name is ENY the Artist. ENY the Artist, right? So he's a very well-known, popular MC out of New York. He's worked with a lot of people, but he really started to think out the box. And what he did was he created this series where he started redoing everybody's beats. So he'll pick Jay-Z, and then he'll get all of Jay-Z's singles, the name, and then he'll get on a beat, one of Jay-Z's beats, and he'll make a rhyme using all of those things, and that became very popular. People started to follow him, Eminem, because that became very popular. So he's monetizing a little bit off of that, and now he's discussing daily topics. So he's gotten very good at becoming a content creator, and he says, you know, he's doing better as a content creator than just an artist. We live in a world now where you got to bridge the two, which you're doing. You're bridging the two. Continue to do. You just got to leverage. You know. People are not, I don't know what your streams are like and all of that too. You know what I mean? So I know you've got a good amount of streams. Have you ever made money off of streaming? Mm-hmm. Or you never got? So then it's there. You just got to keep putting out music and keep every little thing you do. Right? They say you throw enough. This is an old Italian saying. You throw enough spaghetti on the wall, some of it's gonna stick, and that's it. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You got to be creative. You got to be out the box. But you're doing a good job at being relevant. You just, you got to be a little bit, and this is everybody, not just you. You got to be a little bit more savvy, and you got to stay on top of the trends. So, like again, today, start talking about current events, your point of view, and people will. I've seen it. People will jump in with you because you got to. Today, I'm going to be.
They'll jump in with me, and some are going to want to argue with me, and I'm not a drama person. My life is peaceful.
Well, listen, I got you, but that's how. So you know who Hassan Campbell is?
Who?
Hassan Campbell. Okay, so I'm gonna send you these links. So Hassan Campbell, he's one of the most successful YouTubers, like in hip hop and everything. He's got they call it the dirty side, the dirty part of YouTube. So it's like a lot of hip hop and everything. But these guys argue, and and he's very controversial. When you get a chance, his name is Hassan Campbell. Check him out. This guy makes a lot of money on YouTube, but he discusses, he's a little controversial, and he discusses a lot of topics. And he goes in. He'll go in on Kamala. He'll go in on Trump. Like, he speaks his mind. He's raw with it, and people like that. And you know what? He's a little disrespectful, which people love, to certain people. Right. But you're with your personality and your character and the way you are, I think if you started to do that and just kept it real with your perspective, I think you would blow up because you already have a big following of numbers. You just got to have all of those people transition, direct, start doing, make sure that you always promoting your link and start transporting them. Go so all of your followers, you say, yo, today at 5 o'clock, I'm talking about this BS with Kamala and Trump. I'm gonna set the record straight. See me there at 5 o'clock and draw them there. And the lives are what do it for you.
All right.
That's
moving
drawing your traffic to the other platform.
Yeah.
Okay?
What's your pet peeve?
I don't know. You know. So my pet peeve, like what I like to do the most. I've heard that used a lot of times, but I don't know the exact definition.
Your pet peeve is something that irritates you that you just.
See, I wasn't even thinking like that. That irritates me.
Yes, something like people that, for me, as an example, I got a few, but just as an example, if I'm on the highway and I'm going and people are coming onto the highway and they have a yield sign and they don't yield, that shit pisses me off. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, so what is something that other people do, or if they leave the toilet seat down or whatever, that kind of pisses you off?
The only thing that you know, I've learned how to take everything with a grain of salt, and I've tried to self-master my own emotions. You understand? So I don't let a lot of things get to me. I just don't. You know, when I try my best to be in control. You know what I mean? Because if I'm not in control, someone is in control of me. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So at the end of the day, I just don't appreciate when people aren't upfront and aren't honest about things. Like for instance, you know, if you say you're going to do something, if you commit to it, and then you don't want to do it, like, don't ghost me. Because a lot of times I know I didn't do anything wrong. We had a conversation, we had an agreement. And if you change your mind, I'm going to give you an example. All right. So this is an example. I was going to open a business with someone that I knew. We had worked together in a business. And when the business was sold, I came on as a marketer, as a freelance marketer for the business. And when the business was sold, she reached out to me, and she knows the business and I know it was a home care business. So she asked me if I wanted to partner up with her and start a home care business. I really know that business really good. So I said, let's get all the licenses from the state. Let's do everything. I was ready to write the check. I started downloading the application. And then, you know, she was supposed to follow back. And we were communicating for about a week or two, and then she disappears. So I hit her up. Hey, what's good? I'm trying to get ahead of this so that we can transition some of these clients over. Oh, yeah, we're going to. Well, matter of fact, no answer. I call her, no answer. So I'm like, well, the last time we spoke, everything was fine. Doesn't hit me back, doesn't nothing. Then I find out from somebody who I had hired that she went with the other company and took the job. So I said, well,
even tell you.
Just tell me. If you decide, listen, it's your life. If you decide you want to change the direction, that's fine. But just tell me, because I'm doing things based on what you told me. If you change your mind, it's your prerogative. If you decided to go for the paycheck, that's fine. We could have become millionaires in 2 years on this type of business. It's a very lucrative business. But she didn't. And now I see her online following me and shit. I'm not mad at her, but I'm disappointed. And that's one of my
that's just disrespectful. I mean,
come on. But you know what? I'm always going to be good, so people disrespect themselves. She disrespect because now, if you know, anyone, now they close the door where they can't ask me to do something, and I'm a person who gets shit done. So my thing is, you know, I can be annoying. I know that I'm pushy. I could be annoying for my career, but when people want somebody to get things done, I'm the one they call. So the same person who might think that I'm annoying, right? When they need something done, they know that I'm going to be annoying for them. So I, you know, that's one of my pet peeves when we have an agreement, when we work, and then you just disappear and don't follow up and leave me in the dark to wonder. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not mature. It's very inconsiderate to the next person's feelings. I get back to everybody. I'm upfront with everybody, whether they like what I gotta say or whether they don't like what I say. They'll respect it, but I'm straight up with them. So that's probably, you know, my number one. Another one more is when people think they can talk to you however. Like, people have diarrhea of the mouth, not realizing that there's consequences. They're lucky that I'm a changed person, because the old me wasn't as understanding and as passive. I'm a little bit more passive, as long as you don't violate my space, whatever. But people nowadays, they just talk crazy on social media too. We're developing these third dimensional relationships where it's like you can't pick up the phone and call. You know what's crazy? Even the older generation, or people who are in our generation and above, right? They have become the social media, like, it's cool for the new kids to act a certain way because that's the etiquette that they learned on. But you can call me. I got people hitting me up, texting me about stuff they can call me about, or putting it on my page. Bro, you have my number directly. Call me. Why are we doing this through? And that's another thing. So it's like, it is what it is. You can't control anybody else's, It is what it is.
You definitely can't.
Let
Tell
them
me,
do them.
we gotta get ready to wrap things up in a few minutes, but tell me, what's the story behind your 14 karat gold custom butane lighter?
Well, I like nice things, man. I like nice things. So I'm a member of a cigar club called Respect the Smoke, out of New York. There's a lot of us, so I visit different cigar lounges and stuff like that. So I went to a place where they have a jeweler there, a guy who does custom stuff for cigar lighters and whole. So he showed me one, and I told him how I wanted it, and he designed it for me.
Do you have it like near you?
I don't have it near me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's in the
You ain't know I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
A Tribe Called Quest, and I know you was talking about them recently, or Wu-Tang.
Yeah. What about them?
A Tribe Called Quest or Wu-Tang?
Oh, A Tribe Called Quest. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang all day. I like A Tribe Called Quest. So that was a conversation that No Frills had. They had just recently got inducted, I think it was, to the Hall of Fame, rock and roll, and we were discussing this GOAT talk. So everybody's always like, "Oh, this one is the greatest of all time." This one. So we started talking about what's the criteria to be a GOAT. So he said, I was on the fence with A Tribe Called Quest. I wasn't sure that I agreed they were the GOATs. They were legendary. They're pioneers. But as we discussed more, I agreed with him that they're probably one of the greatest hip hop groups of all time. But they're definitely, in my opinion, they're not greater than Wu-Tang. That's my opinion.
All right. So besides, I always end the podcast with asking my guests to give a piece of advice to the audience. But besides that, is there any plugs you want to do, and then give the advice? I'm gonna put your Instagram and everything.
Oh, good.
In the thing, so you ain't gotta worry about that. And it's right here, Val The Voice 2.0, not 0.
Yeah. Just follow me at Val The Voice 2.0 on IG. Also follow my other page at the Hip Hop Co-Creators. It's a page that's dedicated and highlights Latinos in hip hop. So it talks about it highlights a lot of the Latino contributions to hip hop that are overlooked. So that's a very popular page that's trending and doing really good. We're actually starting to work on the documentary for that. So we're highlighting a lot of Latino artists in the game, legendary figures. I feel like they don't get the light that they deserve. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm here to debunk all the lies of Fraud Jamal. All right. And then listen to the show or follow us at the Culture Coaches, at the THEE Culture Coaches, and then from there you can log on to No Frills. Get in touch. We always answer our DMs. If you want to advertise or if you want to get music played, hit us up, DM us. You know what I mean? If you're family and you got a big record, we'll spin you for free. If you're part of the team. If you got a promo budget and if you got a label, then your label ain't no difference. We're on FM radio, we're on AM radio. Big records require big budgets. And if you're not part of my team, I don't do anything for free. But holler at us. Maybe we could show some love. At Val The Voice, at the Culture Coaches. And that's pretty much it. We're on Wednesdays, 98.5 FM. We're on Fridays, WWDB 860. We're on iHeartRadio Saturdays at 12 o'clock. and also 6 o'clock on Friday. So we're in various outlets. And the only thing that I would say is in the in regards to advice is try to work smarter, not harder. And don't let squares in your circle, and be careful of frenemies. So a lot of people, make sure that the people that you surround yourself with are for you and not just for what you're for. There's a
Right.
big difference. And I learned that in the music game, and I learned that in a lot of things, right? People align themselves with you and they're with you, but they're not really with you. You know what I mean? They're with you because they can benefit off of you, or they're with you because of what you guys do, something similar in common, right? It's like if
Mm-hmm.
you go to work to a regular job, all those people there might not be your friends, but you have a job to finish. But the
Right.
minute someone gets fired, you never hear from them again because you don't share a common interest. So make
Mm-hmm.
sure the people that you say, and of course, there's going to be relationships like that, but just make sure that you identify those relationships so you put people in the right place. Because at the end of the day, people may be for what you're for, but they're not for you. And then you're going to get a hard lesson in the end. Don't let any squares in your circle. Trust your instincts and stay focused. Don't get caught up in the emotions. In business, be focused on business, not emotions. It's your
There
boy
you
Val
go,
The Voice,
y'all.
the coach of coaches, coaching the culture. Shout out to your favorite granny. I appreciate you. Thanks for being one of the first people to jump on to the new show. We had a great, there's no frills still sliding in your DMs. Yo, but now keep them. You too. You got our email. Just send us clean versions. You can keep sending us music. Just send us clean versions. Hit me up, Val. I just sent you the new single. Since I get so much stuff, sometimes I'm not on it. I usually tell everybody to send it to No Frills because we have different duties that we do in regards to the jobs. So he really handles the music. But you should have both of our emails. You can always send your music as long as you send clean versions. We're gonna play it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to be on the podcast, rapping with your fave granny.
Love and
And
loyalty.
I'll see y'all next time.
And for all the haters, that's a
Put that
peace.
shit on pause.
Yeah. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Later.
All right.